If you haven't heard about the Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. The Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it's easy to be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to a special bonus episode of my podcast called Gotta Have Heart Wrestling by yours truly, Jamal Honest. And today, I want to talk about a very specific event. One of my favorites, actually. This was even before the year 2000 came around here, and even before, you know, most of these December pay-per-views. But we're going to go back to the 90s. And I'm going to talk about a really good December pay-per-view here where after Rock had seemingly won his first WWE Championship at the 1980 Survivor Series, he was on a roll. He was the guy in WWE that everybody wanted to be, but couldn't be. The cocky, arrogance, eyebrow raising ass kicker, The Rock, will become known as the corporate champion rather than the people's champion. That's right, we're going to talk about WWF Rock Bottom in your house. This event will take place on December 13th, 1998, from the General Motors Place in Vancouver, British Columbia, which is located in Canada, with an attendance record of 20,042 fans here. And as you can tell, this event was, party in house chronology, but also featured the return of the Buried Alive match between Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Undertaker. Mind you, Austin and Undertaker had battles before, such as the one in your house, Cold Day in Hell of May of '97, and of course recently at the 1980 SummerSlam pay-per-view event from MSG, Madison Square Garden. You can always imagine that you never know when there's going to be a special Austin Undertaker rivalry here. But I think out of all the matches in WWE's history, very important matches, I think this would probably be one of the most important ones here between Austin and Undertaker here. And then this, where does it may seem like most of the matches have been for the WWE Championship, but this one would not be for the WWE Championship here. This is actually one of the first few times one-on-one these two battles without anything on the line here. So, but instead you have the guy that The Rock defeated at Survivor Series, Mankind, would challenge The Rock to a match Rock Bottom for the WWE Championship in the second last match, or the first main event of the evening. But yeah, Rock Bottom seemed interesting. Come out to Survivor Series, we have a new champion, Mankind got screwed. Then at the Survivor Series, Austin got a shot at the championship against The Rock due to that binding contract from that lawyer that he personnel made sure he in his new contract that stated Austin would get 5 more years on the deal will receive a WWE Championship match. And that wasn't a part of the 1998 Survivor Series Deadly Games tournament, but randomly added that he would get the shot whenever he wanted and where it would take place. And of course, Undertaker interfered in that matchup at the end and laid out Austin with a shovel to the head, hard shovel shot. And we saw the next week on Raw where Austin would get kidnapped by the Undertaker and try to E-bomb him. Mind you, Stone Cold had passed out a live injury in San Jose Arena on the Sunday before the Monday Night Raw on November 22nd, I believe, on November 22nd. So this is really, really interesting here how Undertaker go out of his way and try to E-bomb Stone Cold Steve Austin. Luckily, then we're King team to the rescue from his ongoing rivalry with the Undertaker. And you see the next week on Raw here that Austin and Kane would put Paul Bearer down a sewage drainer outside. This is pretty surreal. The November 29th episode of Monday Night Raw, yes, it happened. Austin and Kane put Paul Bearer through a sewage drainer below. This is pretty crazy. Right outside the arena. And I remember watching it, Monday Night Raw, and just seeing that. I was like, I didn't really care about Paul Bear's well-being, but he really fit down there in a sewer thing? He went down there with kind of ease, but he still went down there. Pretty crazy. And then probably one of the most awe-inspiring moments in Monday Night Raw history. Then the week after, I think it was December 6th, I believe, the episode of Raw, and the Undertaker and his corporate ministry in a big tag match that pit Austin and Mankind against The Rock and the Undertaker, and probably one of the most biggest tag team matches in Raw history. After the match, we saw the Ministry of Darkness come out to assist the Undertaker and hanging Austin on the Undertaker symbol, probably about 10, 15 feet above on the stage. And that was probably one of the creepiest moments as a kid watching that and thinking, oh my God, what's happening to Austin? How's he going to get down from there? This is crazy. Like, you know, oh man. And Undertaker's saying he takes his mind, body, and soul, and the only thing left for him is to bury him alive. Which this thing escalated on a whole new level. This was not just, a business match between Austin and Undertaker. This is damn sure personal. Oh man. Alright, well, let's dive right into pay-per-view here. We had about 4 matches in Sunday Night Heat. I know, a lot of matches. Well, we had the first one on Sunday Heat. We had Dwayne Gill defended the WWF Light Heavyweight Championship against Matt Hardy with his brother Jeff Hardy in his corner. Mind you, Dwayne Gill is a new member of the Job Squad. And thanks to the Job Squad, Dwayne Gill was able to defeat Christian for the Light Heavyweight Championship on, I think, the March 29th episode of Monday Night Raw. And you would think of the guy named Dwayne Gill, who came to WWF and after being hyped up as a WCW veteran, in Mr. Man's words, not mine, and, losing, to Mankind in probably, 10 seconds at the first opening match of the Survivor Series. And, now he got success. He's being Hardy, well, thanks to the Job Squad. Job Squad being with Al Snow, Scorpio, and Bob Holly, all these underrated competitors who would later on become veterans and prime superstars in their prime. So, yeah, this match lasted a minute and 2 seconds. So, not a very bad match to kick off. I guess Dwayne Gill, who we will know later on become Gilbert, a small version of Goldberg, but nonetheless, I think it was pretty cool. I was actually a Dwayne Gill fan. Believe it or not, guys, Gilbert, Dwayne Gill, I was actually pretty a fan of this, because imposing coming out, and it's kind of funny, All right, next up we have Kevin Quinn, which I don't know much about Kevin Quinn. I cannot give you any information about him. I don't know him at all. Would defeat Brian Christopher, too sexy Brian Christopher, in 2 minutes and 23 seconds. And yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know much about that. Alright, and next up we'll see Triple H defeat Draws. I don't know, Triple H having a match on Sunday Night Heat rather than pay-per-view event. This kind of seems surreal here, But yeah, Triple H, along with Billy Gunn, China, Road Dogg, and S-Pac, defeated Draws with Animal 101. So I guess that match lasted a minute 37 seconds. Don't know how this match came about, Triple H versus Draws, or even DX feuding with half of the Legion of Doom. I didn't know how this match came about, but I guess it happened. Yeah. And then, even after the match, we will see the New Age Outlaws, Billy Gunn and Road Dogg defeat the Acolytes via disqualification, of course. Acolytes, this new guy with the Jackal coming to their own before they even part of the Ministry of Darkness. Bashar Farouk had developed a persona which seemed more rougher, more arrogant, more thrasher, like hard-hitting guy that loved to fight. And mind you, newly tag team put together too by the Jackal, who was formerly known to be the manager of the Truth Consequences. The Truth Commission, sorry, back in '97. So, if Jackal here, putting these two guys together, I think we can probably give them most of the credit to putting Bradshaw and Fruit together and calling them the Acolytes. So, big ups to them, I guess. Alright, let's dive into our first match of the event. We got Rock Bottom. The Rock comes here, kind of promo before the show even happens, for the promo even hits. And yeah, it's safe to say this pay-per-view was based on The Rock himself, So, yeah. Alright, first up, we got D'Lo Brown and Mark Henry with Jacqueline and Terry Reynolds, known as a PMS. I know what you guys think in this. Very winning for tag team, but mind just add to that. Anything goes. Literally anything goes. So, D'Lo Brown, Mark Henry coming out with PMS, facing up against the team of Supply and Demand, the Godfather and Val Venus. How surreal is you got the Godfather, who is a pimp, coming out with hoes all the time, and you got Val Venus, this adult porn star whose fetish is woman, 24/7 foot. These two guys put together, I think it was a very cool tag team. I wish this tag team lasted more in the future. Even though, you got a black guy, you got a white guy teamed up, maybe call him with the weapon. No reference to Danny Glover and Mel Gibson, but this is a pretty cool tag team. I actually like this tag team of Val Venus and Godfather. It was pretty cool to see these two together, knowing that the most obvious thing they common, and the most obvious thing they have in common, people didn't really see. But yeah, D'Lo Brown and Mark Henry would defeat the Godfather and Val Venus in 5 minutes 54 seconds. So I guess Supply and Demand were a cool tag team to see, but as far as in-ring credits goes, I guess not enough to defeat D'Lo Brown and Mark Henry in the tag team match. All right, moving on here. We got another tag team match of the Headbangers face off against the Oddities. Let me tell you something. The Headbangers are our most decorated tag team. We've seen them become tag team champions last year in Your House Ground Zero against the Godwins. But when they turned heel here, I thought this would elevate the tag team there. And feuding with the Oddities out of all tag teams, other than New Jawas or D'Lo Brown and Mark Henry from the past Survivor Series, I thought it would elevate them, but it kind of made them worse. There really wasn't much of a winning streak after that here. And the Oddities, mind you got this group of odd superstars. You got Kurgan, who was this over 7 foot guy monster that had a good run at the beginning of 1998. But if they would have kept that persona and like they was Greg Khali, I think it would have made most of his career. With the Oddities, I kind of felt got Kurgan's level of superstardom down, way down. I didn't like it. Seeing him wearing multicolored shirts and you got these guys named Giant Silver and Golga with Luna. And, Luna Vachon is also a decorated woman in her rights, former women's champion. But, the daughter of Mad Dog Vachon, mind you. But I feel like the Oddities were such an odd group. I don't really put them up there as one of the greatest factions in WWE history. I think they're probably the worst faction in WWE history. The Oddities, I didn't like it too much. I will express this more and more on upcoming bonus episodes. I didn't like the Oddities. I really didn't. They were not that good at all. So, yeah. The Headbangers going to win here. This is a wonder that wins. But, mind you, they still weren't enough good as a heel tag team to make a difference, other than being baby faces the previous year before. So, yeah, it's kind of a boring match. It lasted 6 minutes and 29 seconds. So, yeah. All right, next up here, we got Steve Blackman racing Owen Hart. One-on-one here. Steve Blackman. I've always been impressed with Steve Blackman ever since he debuted in November of 97. First competed at the 1997 Survivor Series the year before. And he's had a pretty good run here, too. He's even feuded with the likes of Owen Hart, Ken Shamrock, even Dan the Beast Severn. All these good matches here. And the history between all four of those guys here. Dan Severn and Ken Shamrock going back to the UFC days. And, Steve Blackman apparently friends with Ken Shamrock as well. Again, the feud with Dan to be Severn, and you got Owen Hart, who recently broke Dan Severn's neck back in September on Monday on Raw as War. So you have guys like Steve Blackman and Owen Hart. You're gonna see contrasting styles here, but it's really gonna make an interesting matchup here. And even this matchup, Steve Blackman showed a lot of heart and tenacity against the late great Owen Hart. Owen Hart being the youngest member of the Hart family, the younger brother of Bret the Hitman Hart, the one that really stayed in the WWE after the whole Montreal incident happened in '97. So. And Steve Blackman would eventually defeat Owen Hart by countout in 10 minutes and 26 seconds. So now that's showing by Steve Blackman coming up and up. And this will actually make his superstar more fame as he head into the year 1999 and see how truly lethal weapon Steve Blackman can be. So I've always been impressed with Steve Blackman. I say he's one of my favorite superstars during the Attitude Era. And he really impressed me a lot. I like his in-ring skills. He's really great. He's really cool. Next up, we'll have The Brood, Christian, Edge, and Gangrel going up against the Job Squad of Al Snow, Bob Holly, and Scorpio. Of course, Al Snow has this head. We all love head. We all need head. Head is cool. Head is freaking cool. And, most likely, every time you're going to see Al Snow wrestle, that head 99.9% will likely come into play. Will likely be used in that matchup. So, if you're gonna give Edge, Christian, and Gangrel head, lucrative speaking, it's gonna be likely be a big difference maker here. The Brood, Edge, Christian, Gangrel coming to their own. We saw Edge and Gangrel feud was thrilling with Christian debuting that breakdown. Christian won his first lightweight championship at Judgment Day this past October, and these three guys getting together here, knowing that the history of all three of these guys here much seemingly entwined with each other here, creating a Brood called creating a group called the Brood and pretty much just coming to their own as cool. I love the Brood. I love the entrance music. Have you seen them coming up in that circle of fire? The Brood at the time, the Attitude Era, was the coolest entrance music ever. The entrance theme song ever. The entrance, everything about the Brood was so damn cool. You know, it's like a gothic lifestyle of vampire, especially Gangrel. It's gonna really cool. And by I think Gangrel being a known superstar from his persona, it really helped boost the careers of Edge and Christian as well at that as well too. So I like them. And you know, the Brood will defeat the Job Squad in 9 minutes and 8 seconds here. That was a pretty good 6-minute tag team match. I actually enjoyed it a little bit too. So yeah, not a bad match for the Brood against the Job Squad. You know, again, I don't really think Arsenal giving all three of them hadn't really made much of a difference because the Brood stole in this matchup anyway. So yeah. All right, here we'll see the next match: Goldust versus Jeff Jarrett. And probably one of the most unique, strange matches ever. This will be a strip tease match. And I'm thinking, how this hell came along? You have Goldust, which I'm pretty sure doesn't mind being strip teased. But you have Jeff Jarrett in this matchup too. Jeff Jarrett accompanied by Deborah. But the thing is, the stipulation is that if Goldust would have lost, he would have had the strip tease. But if Jeff Jarrett would have lost, instead of him, Deborah McMichael would have the strip tease. And eventually Goldust would defeat Jeff Jarrett, which means Deborah would have to striptease in front of the whole world, in front of 20,000 fans in General Motors place. So, of course that didn't happen. Jeff Jarrett was still in the affair and got out of there with Deborah. Goldust still won this match via disqualification, 8 minutes 6 seconds. But I'm pretty sure if that happened, I think all of us around the world, even the fans there in Vancouver, BC, would have really been happy with Jeff Jarrett, with Deborah McMichael striptease in front of the whole world. So I would have enjoyed that, And of course, Jay Lawler would mention the phrase puppies maybe 10 times that night. Who would have known? As he always does when Deborah comes out, Or even shows the puppies. Once more than too many times. But as a fan, I liked it. I wasn't mad at the situation. But I think we all could have seen Deborah striptease and that would have been really nice. Alright, next up, we'll have a tag team championship matchup. The New Age Outlaws defending the tag team championships against the corporations Big Boss Man and Ken Shamrock, with Shawn Michaels in the corner. I know what you're thinking. How the hell is Shawn Michaels in the corner of the Big Boss Man and Ken Shamrock? Let's go back to the night when Shawn Michaels was announced the commissioner of the WWF on November 22nd, 1998. Vince McMahon appoints Shawn Michaels the commissioner of the WWF, which seems in his contract, Shawn Michaels has all the power to do what he wants when he wants to in the World Wrestling Federation at the time. Not even Mr. McMahon could fire him. That's the thing. Shawn Michaels could only lose his job if only on his own term, if he wanted to quit or resign as commissioner. So Shawn Michaels having an unlimited amount of power. He's the commissioner of WWE, but he aligned himself with Mr. McMahon's corporation to make it seem like he was on the McMahon side here, even though I don't really see the case here. And his rivalry between the corporation and D-Generation X had escalated in many ways more than one. That to the point where, Shawn Michaels is going to have to do what Shawn Michaels is going to have to do at the end of the day. So aligning himself with the corporation, even for Mr. Outlaw fit the tag team championship on the line against Big Boss Man and Ken Shamrock, two of the toughest superstars in the WWE today. I've always been a big Boss Man fan, God rest his soul. And I've always been a Ken Shamrock fan, just because of the accomplishments he's had in the UFC and WWE. So, yeah. But on this event, the New Age Outlaws would not go down without a fight, because the New Age Outlaws would defeat Big Boss Man and Ken Shamrock in 60 minutes and 10 seconds here. A hard-fought matchup. This would be one of the good tag team matches and toughest challenge for the New Age Outlaws to date. I mean, if you're going to go against a team like Ken Shamrock and Big Boss Man, you're going to be in for a fight, no matter what. So, kudos to the New Age Outlaws for getting another yet important victory against the corporation and sticking it to Mr. Man once more. Next up, we would have the WWF Championship on the line when Mankind goes 1-on-1 against The Rock. And mind you, we'll definitely have to see Shane McMahon and Mr. Man on ringside here. Of course, The Rock acknowledging both his pictures on the right side of the left and right side of the entrance stage. His picture posing with the WWF Championship belt. And Mankind comes out here. These two have a good match back and forth here. See Mankind take that dive off the top rope to the outside and crash on the table, which is not really one of the coolest bumps ever. It's probably more dangerous. Glad Mankind survived that. Glad he was okay. And you see Mankind proceed with Socko. Mankind makes The Rock pass out to the point where referee rings the bell here. Now we're thinking, Mankind is the new WWE champion via, submission. But Mr. Man grabs the microphone and says that Mankind is not the WWE champion, and the only way he could win is by pinfall or submission. Meaning if The Rock taps out or says the words "I quit," in which Mankind didn't, or it's claimed Mankind did not do either, The Rock would defeat, and Mankind would defeat The Rock by knockout, which I never heard a knockout rule in the history of the WWE. Thus, making Rock still the WWE champion. And of course, Mankind gets the Mr. Van Socko, and Rock and Shayman beat some at the matchup here to close out, you know, that matchup here. And I really didn't like that. The Rock passed out. We've seen championships before where Mankind has won, which made his opponents win via submission. So I disagree with the decision here. Vince McMahon was trying to change the rules. He's a boss, he can do that, of course. I understand that, but trying to change the rules to seem like the championship needed to be kept on The Rock rather than put on Mankind. For Mankind for not to be the face of the company. And since this is entitled Rock Bottom here, this man was really going to do everything he can to make sure Rock rocks out of Vancouver, British Columbia, still as the WWF champion. So, don't get me wrong, I like The Rock as champion, but I just hated the decision that happened. So, I didn't agree with it, and yeah, it's pretty crazy here. Really crazy. Alright, we'll show the video package for the main event here between Steve Austin and Undertaker. This will be a buried alive matchup. And the stipulation is the winner of this buried alive match between The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin and Undertaker will have the right to compete in the 1999 Royal Rumble matchup to get an opportunity to win, to go to WrestleMania and fight for the WWE Championship here. It seemed like Austin really hated Undertaker. Undertaker really hated Austin to the point where all this started back at SummerSlam. Austin defeats the Undertaker. We move on to Breakdown involving Kane, that triple threat matchup where Undertaker and Kane could not pin each other, but only pin Austin for the championship. We see both of them double choke to Austin, 1, 2, 3, but neither guy is champion. Vince McMahon walked off the championship in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada that night. Hold title up to present it to Austin, to Undertaker or Kane. Austin comes in with the Zamboni, beats up Mr. Man here. We go to Judgment Day, where Austin will be placed as a special guest referee between The Undertaker and Kane, which those two brothers are fighting for to become the champion. But if Austin didn't do his job, Austin's out of here. And which it seemed like we had no winner, no contest. Mr. Man fired Austin that night. Shane McMahon will bring Austin back that very next night on Raw and attempt to spite his own father by giving Austin a 5-year deal to stay in the WWF and a title shot whenever Austin chooses. Of course, here, Vince McMahon couldn't do nothing about that. It was a law-abiding contract, so I guess it's legal, all legal. Austin moved to the Survivor Series here, where we see Austin get screwed roughly by McMahon's over Mankind to advance to the finals. And Austin gets the title shot next night on Raw and gets screwed out by the Undertaker. And that's what brings us here to Rock Bottom in this buried alive matchup. Because Undertaker hated Austin's point that he needed not just to beat Austin 1, 2, 3, but make sure Austin never ever again gets a title shot and to be seen in WWE again. Regular buried alive matchup. We see The Undertaker's entrance. I love this version of The Undertaker's entrance because before it was like the corporate ministry, before it was really into the ministry of darkness, but I like that slow methodical music and it's cool. It's like one of the best Undertaker theme songs ever, Have Austin coming out here. These two go back and forth to the gravesite here. We see Austin hit The Undertaker with that gas can and even the shovel shot too here. And we saw, Austin Stunner on top of the gravesite. Undertaker went inside the grave. Austin attempted to bury him, but Austin goes in the back here. We didn't know what Austin was going in the back for. Undertaker comes out the grave with the shovel, hiding behind a big pile of dirt, maybe luring Austin to come in for a trap. Then we see this big explosion in the gravesite. I'm like, what the hell's going on now? This big explosion here. Out comes Kane. I don't know how in the hell Kane got from inside that grave, just some prayer like that. I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, how the hell Kane get inside the grave? Kane comes out, attacks the Undertaker, tombstones the Undertaker on the gravesite here. We see Austin come with this payloader, this big truckload of dirt. Comes out here and proceeds to bury the Undertaker alive with all that dirt on top of him. And with more and more dirt on top of him, And then Austin wins the Bray Wyatt matchup in 21 minutes and 33 seconds and has a toast with a beer to Undertaker pouring it on his grave. This is probably one of the most craziest, chaotic baby events I've ever seen, especially the Bray Wyatt matchup here. This is pretty cool for Austin to beat the Undertaker in the Bray Wyatt matchup. And Austin will advance to the 1999 Royal Rumble to compete in the Royal Rumble matchup here. What an event this was. I think this was a pretty cool event to watch here. You know, especially the Bray Wyatt match being the main event here. I think WWE did a very good job with pay-per-view here. And again, I didn't like the outcome of the Mankind Rock WWE title matchup here, but the Bray Wyatt match to close the show and send these fans home happy was pretty damn cool to see. So, I wonder what's going to happen next Sunday at TLC. We're just 6 days away from TLC, when we have AJ Styles, Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship in a Table Guys and Chairs match, and also Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens in a Table Guys and Chairs match for the Universal Championship. What's going to happen at this event? We don't know. We're going to find out as WWE comes early for Christmas and presents us with a gift of tables, ladders, and chairs. Until next time, guys, you have a good day and enjoy the rest of your Monday.